All right, let's get started.
Ugh.
The movie today was The Dustwalker, and I guess there's quite a bit to talk about with this movie.
Is there? I genuinely don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what went on.
Well, I can answer that. Both questions is nothing. Nothing
Yeah.
happened. Nothing went on. It was very simple. Basically, I guess to give a quick rundown of what it was about. An alien virus or disease kind of takes over Australia,
Mhm.
and then it goes away, and that's it. People stand around outside other people's doors and wait, and that's supposed to be terrifying.
This movie is plagued by one of the things that I find is most egregious with film today is that the soundtrack and the ambient noise just drowns out the dialogue. You can't understand a word they're saying, especially since it's Australian.
Yeah,
and the heavy accents kind of also.
Yeah. My favorite part was there was a scene when like the alien was talking through the guy and he had like a distorted like deep voice.
Oh my god.
And because it was a distorted deep voice and a different accent and the audio was so crummy, like I did not know a single thing what he said.
I'm sure it was supposed to be something like some game-changing moment in the movie where something was revealed, but it just sounded like the Swedish chef was possessed by Satan himself.
It was like, I don't know, it was like they ran like a spoon through a cheese grater. It was just nothing. It was just absolutely nothing. I was like, I don't understand. I think I remember we made jokes about it, but I looked at you and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of shrugged. I was like, I hope that. I know one thing that that this movie did. I know we talked about it when we were watching it.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think, something that modern movies do nowadays, especially movies trying to be horror or suspenseful, is that just padding out the wazoo. Like, again, I always talk about the one idea stretched over 4 servings, but this wasn't even that. This was like half an idea. Like, all right, aliens come and infect people. Like that was their only idea. There was nothing beyond that.
It wasn't even an idea. This was just an hour and a half of looking at the menu.
Yeah, it was a setting that they were like, all right, let's film this setting and just see what happens.
It just a series of disjointed, almost unrelated scenes. Like from what we were able to piece together, it was there was some kind of alien parasite, and it infected people somehow through touch or through spores, and
that was it.
The people who were infected, they had like worms in their face for a little while, and then the effects budget came to play. You couldn't have too much of that, and for the majority of the movie they would just stand. They would just stand around staring at people.
And the main characters would walk around different locales looking for survivors, and it would be about 5 minutes of them just kind of slowly walking through a house or a building and like checking in rooms. Oh, there's no one in there, and then moving on, and then that was it. That was the entire plot.
And that was later in the movie. The first 15 to 20 minutes was solving technical issues with their cell phone towers and trying to determine who's responsible for what and who gets who coffee.
Yeah, it was like a very bureaucratic beginning.
And
I kind of wish that it was more of the bureaucratic beginning than it was for the second, or the second 2/3 of it, I should say.
I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't until the first hour in that I learned that she was a police officer.
Yeah, I know.
I thought she was just with the phone company.
I thought that she was. I thought that her job was just actually I thought she was like some kind of scientist or geologist or surveyor or something.
Yeah, like. Because why would the police get involved with a satellite tower?
Yeah. So, yeah, like it wasn't until she was driving around with like a gun with and the cop car said patrol on it that I was like, wait a minute. She's a cop, isn't she?
Yeah,
Isn't she?
it's. I guess there was a little bit of a hint, like, well, I'm gonna turn, before I leave, I'll give you my badge, which I thought that was just some kind of colloquial term for maybe her ID card.
Yeah, I thought it was just kind of like like they were just kind of joshing each other, like,
Yeah.
I guess I have to give you my badge now, hardy har.
And, but no, they kind of.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, it also doesn't help that no one, I guess there's no sense of uniformity in the, the Australian, the deep outback police force.
Yeah, they were just kind of wearing t-shirt and jeans and everything like
Yeah.
that. It was like I think there was also, maybe she was wearing one of those Outback hats. I think I saw it at one point.
Was she actually wearing one of those hats?
Well, she wasn't wearing it, but she had it on the seat next to her. So I kind of feel like anytime they needed to snap into action, they put the hat on and then they'd kind of run out there.
I do think they're required by law to have one of those in the car at all times.
Of course, yeah. You kind of have to have something like that. And I feel that like a lot of I know we were talking about how like the actress wasn't too bad, when it comes to acting. It was just that there was nothing for her to do. Like all she had to do was walk around and cry every now and again.
Like for the most part, the actors were not bad. Like the acting was fairly good with the direct they were given.
Mm-hmm.
Like the younger kids were a little bit crappy, but you kind of get that with the with inexperienced actors and stuff like that. So I kind of give them a pass, but like they were better actors than this movie deserved.
Yeah, they were. The thing that I think that kind of maybe sums up everything wrong with this movie was there was just no impact. It left no impact on me, and even in scenes where they're supposed to be, like at the end, there's a scene, the scene where they're trying to cut the mom's hand off.
Yeah.
To save, like when they bring the shovel down, it's like there was no good sound effect for it. There was like no shot of it. It was just you had to, I guess, assume what happened.
And that's kind of astonishing for a movie that has random sound effects of like that don't go with any scene. Like there would be just someone walking through a bathroom and like a broken tuba sound would just bellow out of nowhere.
It's like, I'll be honest, I thought this movie was worse than I Am Alone.
Let's see, I Am Alone.
That's the
Which one was that?
Survivor Man zombie one.
Oh yeah, that's I'm gonna agree with that, and that's genuinely saying something because I Am Alone was pretty wretched, but that at least had a story they were going for, at least.
Not done well, but it was still like at least you could see the story angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, there was none of that. Although I'm gonna say that was this movie worse than It's Pat?
Oh, that is.
I was thinking about that when I was
man.
watching. I was like, I don't know which movie I would put on again. Like, would I put on the Dustwalker again, or would I put on It's Pat the movie again?
This movie was bad, but at least It's Pat had something going on. At least you can, kind of rage watch It's Pat. Like, you can derive entertainment from your hatred of It's Pat.
Like this movie was kind of, just kind of boring. It committed the cardinal sin of being boring. Where I can't say It's Pat was ever boring, but It's Pat did, like, it just socked me right in the soul every 5 seconds. So I don't know which one I'd rather put on. I'd probably put if someone said, all right, what movie do you think that you could stay awake through again, it would probably be It's Pat.
Yeah, I would probably put It's Pat back in than this movie. Like,
yeah, I'll give you that.
Because though It's Pat was awful, there were moments where it's like, all right, I want to kind of see this man's delve into madness.
Yeah, that was one thing I did like. We should say that for the It's Pat.
Oh my god!
Because whenever we do watch it,
another monster.
It's gonna be a whole can of worms, I feel. But like because I was thinking about other like bad movies that we've watched over the years, and like we've watched a lot of bad movies that were just kind of like this, just very slow and meticulous, and didn't go anywhere, and then just kind of ended. And it was like, oh well, it's over now. And at that point, you kind of feel like the movie's holding you hostage, as opposed to you're having a good time for entertainment.
It's waiting for a pot of water to boil, and then getting the end credits rolling when the pot of water boils. Pot of bottle boils.
Like, yeah, I think I was never so happy when I saw, like, the credits start to come up, fade to black, and just cast, and I was just like, oh, thank goodness.
Like, I think any longer we would start getting Stockholm syndrome.
Like, I can't think of a single aspect that this movie actually done well.
Except
for the acting.
The acting was all right.
So I take it. There was one good thing about it, and I knew one character's name. His name was Beale.
Yeah, and that's about. There was Joe, the main character.
The main character, Joanne. Yeah.
And a bunch of I don't know the rest. Like, they might have said their name, but
sure
I couldn't hear it through the ambient sound.
Like, there was, of course, Musha. That was the young woman. I think there was Chickenfoot Larry. He was one of the people. I think that's what I heard.
The Grimace.
Oh, the Grimace. Yeah, he had a big cameo.
Yep.
There was Miss Brisbane. I think that was pretty nice that she was in there.
Yeah, she needs more work these days.
Yeah. There was I can't even think of terrible names for this because this drains so much out of me.
It's literally it sucked the life force out of the room.
And it's like there was one part which is kind of, I guess, shown on the like when you have a Hulu and the screen for
we're looking at the screen of it right now.
And there's like there's giant tentacles, kind of like Cthulhu-esque tentacles, and a dust storm. And there was a dust storm in this movie.
It was like The Mummy. I was expecting a big face to come out of it at some point.
I would have rather a big giant face come out of this than that would have at least been something, And you could have made it work because the girl was driving through it. Now imagine she's driving through a screaming face. I mean, they had plenty of bad screaming CGI faces in this movie.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, the bad, like where they would just make the jaw extend.
Yeah, where it was, just like The Mummy.
Yeah, but that movie was somehow done better 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's like I love The Mummy. Well, yeah, I really like The Mummy.
It's a solid movie.
Yeah, it's a fun little adventure, It's like you put it in every now and again, you get swept up in it, and you can kind of, I wouldn't say not only forgive the kind of like dated CGI, but you almost embrace it. Like, oh man, like look at little things, look how cute it was,
It wasn't like the CGI in The Mummy, though it is dated. It's not too jarring or out of place, like Lawnmower Man or something like that.
Yeah.
But it still works with the setting and they play with the light. They make it look as believable as possible.
Like, I think that there's a part. Part of it is that they I almost, like I said, I know I said they kind of embrace it a little bit before the kind of thing they kind of lean into it, but I think that there's when it comes to The Mummy, it's like you're already kind of having a good time before any special effects really come up. The beginning of the movie kind of sets up the characters and it sets it up well. Like, you kind of like the characters, you like Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, I think the name is, and they do a good job setting them up, and so by the time that the Mummy comes out and starts doing his weird jaw thing, it's like you're already just having fun. You're having fun. You see that, and you kind of like, look at that. Oh, okay, whatever. I'm on board with this 100%.
Yep. What was his name? Benny.
Benny was great.
The little coward guy.
Yeah, the little coward. Yeah.
I know we watch A-Team a lot. Yeah. And I always like to pretend Mr. T has all those little trinkets on his necklaces.
Well, it's funny because he has at least two.
Yeah,
You've seen the Star of David.
Star of David,
and
a crucifix.
Yeah.
And what else?
I thought we saw the.
Did we saw Allah?
Yeah, I thought we saw the star and the moon and the star.
Oh yeah, the moon and the star. I don't know what that's called, but
Yeah, so
of Islam.
yeah, so Mr. T, if he ever gets like attacked by a mummy, like he can just start like speaking the different languages, like
Yeah.
like fool, 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 fool. I pity the fool.
And
It would 100% work.
I would have to. I think he would be intimidated. I think the mummy would back off.
Yeah, I like. Mr. T was, was an 80s tough guy. I think the mummy respects that
Yeah.
to a certain degree. He's like, go ahead.
Well, we do have that theory that
Oh, yeah.
Mr. T is actually a Terminator that was that went back in time but malfunctioned and forgot he was a Terminator, and that got drafted in Vietnam.
It was the only, like, watching the A-Team, it's the only thing that really makes sense. Like, there was, like, he lifts things that he shouldn't be able to lift. He has all this mechanical know-how.
Like, he takes punches like nobody's business. Like, the man is physically invincible in a way that a person should not be.
Like, he gets shot. I think there was an episode, I think it was like the third episode,
Yeah.
where he gets shot with a 50 cal in the leg. And to him, it's just a little wound.
A 50 cal, that there should be no leg there
And he's
anymore.
just walking it off. He's like, "Oh, I can't believe I've never been shot like this before." And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be alive right now. You should be crawling, through, towards the rest of the A-Team.
But somehow I guess he rerouted his power like in Terminator 2 and just fixed himself.
Or they're gonna, like, whenever things really get tense, he does the whole Terminator 3 thing where he just takes out one of his battery packs and just tosses it to create this giant explosion.
And I think that's why he wears all the necklaces and stuff like that. It's to cover all the battle damage.
Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense. Like, I wonder if he's got, like, because in the Terminator 3, the guy only has, like, really 2 battery packs that he can do that with. Before he, explodes. Like, maybe Mr. T's got a lot of them. That's why they always have explosives on them.
I think it's just double A's. It's a lot of double A's. He has to change them every 15 minutes.
It'd be a lot funnier in Terminator 3 when he, like, at the very end when he takes the, his battery pack out and sticks it in the Terminator's mouth and does his line. But as soon as he takes a battery out, it just, you are, and then that's it. Let's go, and she gets in, and then that's the end of John Connor.
I guess it kind of makes sense that they have, like, you think of the Terminators and, like, really, they have batteries? These machines run on batteries, but yeah, they would have to run on batteries. They don't have really extension cords coming out of them, but
they have, like, plugs that they plug in every now and again.
Yeah, I guess Terminator 3 was the only one that really kind of thought about how these things were powered.
What the fuel source was.
But it's kind of a Hindenburg-like scenario that you have these explosive battery packs for these things meant to take, bullets.
Like, it would have been a lot funnier if at the end of Terminator 1, when she crushes him, if there's just a giant explosion that took her out anyway. Like, why didn't the battery pack get damaged in the liquid metal, or not the liquid metal, the molten steel?
Yeah, like, it's
like, be consistent.
I think that was before, like, the big switch to to hydrogen. It was lithium ion, and they would only, like,
they once the war ended, like, they still had all these backup Terminators, just doing, like, regular work like gardening and landscaping, and they're like, well, we're not gonna spend a lot of money on their fuel source. Let's just get hydrogen. I think that'll work.
I think they have turn cranks like in the old like the old wind-up toys.
Like right before John Connor sends him back, he just twists a really big key.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, this will last you a couple years, or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first.
It's like TikTok from Return to Oz.
That kind of puts a very weird situation for Return to Oz if Dorothy just running around with a bunch of Terminators. I mean, imagine what the T-1000 could do in there.
What, in Return to Oz?
Yeah.
Well, other than murder everyone.
I don't know. I think TikTok seems like an old-fashioned guardian. I think he would stand some kind of chance against him.
I don't know. Like, I'm pretty surprised that TikTok just wasn't full of sand and just didn't get ground up in in seas.
See, See, now I'm imagining the scene from Terminator 2 when the T-1000 is like ramming that piece of metal over and over again into the Terminator's face.
Yeah.
Just imagine TikTok in that situation now.
I think it would just dent his face. He would just have a flat. It's the same face, but it's flat now.
It's like after one attack. It wouldn't be like multiple attacks. It'd just be one, and then he'd be like he'd have a 2D face.
It'd be like when you crush a soda can.
When like especially put all the force on, the pressure on it, and then you put that little dent and just collapses in and of itself.
Yep, and then he blows on his thumb, and it reinflates.
You know what? Yeah, I think he would have a chance against the T-1000 in that case.
He wouldn't know what to do.
Like the T-1000 would stab him and it would just go through. Ha ha ha! I don't have a fuel source to worry about. They take his crank out and they throw it and it blows up.
Well, I think, when he winds down, the T-1000 is at least a good enough sport to wind him back up.
Like they fight and, he just kind of stops and just...
Yeah. Yeah, he's a villain, but he is a gentleman as well.
He's a like you said, he's a good sport about it. It's like, you know what? I have respect for you because I can't beat you. I don't know, maybe if the Wheelers could beat TikTok, maybe T-1000 would have a better chance.
Maybe, but then there was the, what was it, that deadly desert where everyone turned to sand if you touched the sand?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder, what would the would the T-1000 turn to sand, or would he just kind of, turn into the Sandman from Spider-Man 3?
I was gonna say, I think that he would be absorbed by the sand, and he could control all the sand.
So he would be he would have the power of a desert.
He would be unbeatable in the world of Oz. But there's I think there's only one person that could really defeat the T-1000, no questions asked.
From the Oz universe?
No, just in general.
Okay.
You put Magneto down there, and that is a
my
completely
God.
different scenario. You just turn him into a balloon and make him fly away.
The T-1000 would have nothing on Magneto.
Yeah.
He would just dissolve him, or just do anything. He would make him moonwalk into the lava.
All right, what are you doing?
Stop it right now.
He's just he's shaking it, he's doing his finger thing, or he's back and forth.
I have, Magneto would probably, have a little bit of fun before he dunks him into the liquid metal.
He turns him into a flat disc and just kind of rides somewhere with him.
He turns him into the Silver Surfer's surfboard to ride a
That would be freaking awesome.
Look, it's canon.
Yeah, I
well, I don't know about him riding
the T-1000,
but no, I mean the Silver Surfer's in the same universe as Magneto, so he would...
Magneto versus Silver Surfer would be a pretty... Well, is the Silver Surfer made of silver, or does he just look silver?
I don't know.
Is he just made of alien stuff? I read some of the Silver Surfer comics, and he's just got the power cosmic, so he's just full of star energy.
Yeah, I guess he's just a silver man.
But not real silver, just the color silver, I guess.
Yeah.
He's not pure.
Though the T-1000 gives him that indignant look that he gave that one mannequin.
He's like, something? You think that the T-1000 thinks that he's just his long-lost brother or something?
I think it's... I think he saw it as a insensitive depiction.
He's like, you know what? I wasn't going to kill any of these people, but... Yeah, no. I think I'm gonna start killing people. It's right after that.
Yeah, that one guy in the hallway.
Yeah, actually, is that hallway guy the only guy that T-1000 kills? Because he doesn't kill the trucker that he throws out. He's even nice to the helicopter pilot.
Yeah,
he's like, get out, and the guy probably survives. So, is hallway guy the only one?
No,
the parents.
No, the parents.
So
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the security guard.
Oh yeah. I guess he does have a good body count.
Yeah, I kind of. It took me a while. I'm like, is that the only person? I guess he's not. No, he's a bad man.
Yeah. He shoved his finger through many eyeballs. He's not great.
Call to John.
No.
Wait,
You called it John.
You called it John.
No, you called it John.
Like, he could have called it John.
Yeah, called it John. You know, maybe he just wanted to, maybe he wanted to win by knowing that his mother betrayed him. Like,
I guess. Because, like, he pretty much takes Sarah Connor's form.
Yeah.
He could have called to John himself. In fact, he does call to John.
It would be I mean, since the Terminator can mimic voices, it'd be funny if you tried the same thing with him. Call it to John as Sarah. Actually, he could have just called it to John as regular, you know, as... There's a lot of ways that the T-1000 could have handled that situation.
Like, you know, had he just, you know, I don't know how he changes form. I don't know if he has to touch her, and
yeah, as soon as he touches her, then he can change into her.
So he could have just touched her face, and then crushed her face, and then called to John and killed John.
You have a kind face. Then he would have saw that his feet were weird, so he wouldn't have fell for it.
Well, that's in the director's cut.
Yeah, I know. He also touches the skin of the T-800, and I know it's not real skin, but it's close enough.
Oh, I think it is actual, like, human skin just grafted, it's grown, maybe? You know, grown in a lab, and I think, like, I don't think it actually has to be any kind of real skin. He can just mimic any kind of...
I guess he mimics the floor.
Yeah. So he could have just mimicked the T-800.
Like, there's a lot of ways, like, maybe he could have mimicked a car. You know, it wouldn't have been a functioning car, but would
like a transformer. He mimics Optimus Prime.
Dude, I guess Optimus Prime would just step on him, and it wouldn't be too much of a fight, but... Yeah.
Sam, call to John, Sam.
Sam. Or John. I don't know what's going on.
Hello, John.
I think a T-Rex could beat the T-1000. They both have T's in their names.
I think the T-Rex would eat the T-1000, and then the T-1000 would cut himself out of the T-Rex.
Just pass right through him.
Yeah.
He mixes with the gastrointestinal juices, and acid kills him.
Yeah, acid. In Terminator Genesis, the T-1000 is killed by acid, which was a very smart.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clever.
I thought that was very clever because I would have never thought of that.
But it makes sense, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess they ran the gamut in the second one. Like, all right, either really really cold things can hurt him, or really really hot things. Like either freeze him and then not have him near a steel mill so he can reform, or just melt him.
And I don't think there's pretty much that one scene from Terminator 2 where he shoots him and he just shatters is probably one of the most iconic shots. I think in science fiction film, or just in film in general, just such a phenomenal build up to that one scene.
Well, there's a lot of good parts to that scene, especially because it was back in the day when they really did have really good one-liners. And he delivered the one-liner that I know when I was a kid, I was 8 years old, was "Killer, hasta la vista, baby." Like, I remember. Oh, gosh, this is embarrassing. I remember. Stop. My dad made my dad and mom. They were filming, or not filming. They were recording a answering machine message. This is back in the days when that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I was 8 years old. We just got done watching Terminator 2 like recently. So at the end of the message, like, "Hi, you've reached our house. We have a message for blah 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 or blah blah blah, and we'll get back to you." And then they had me say, "Hasta la vista, baby." And, and I remember, like, my parents were so proud of that. They were so happy with that. And I guess everyone else who called thought it was funny.
Oof. I wish we had that recording.
I'm actually kind of glad that we don't. I know my dad erased over it many times in the future and like kind of made different versions.
Recorded the Beatles reunion over it.
It's like I know one time he recorded, like, he made a joke one where it was like he was pretending to be a sex hotline, and he had me. I was like 12 years old, so I was in the background just doing weird moaning, like, "Ow, ow." It's actually kind of dark now I think about it. But he was like, "Oh, you've reached our residence, $4.99 a minute, and
hasta la vista,
I was
baby."
like, that'd be so funny if that piece of the tape came back. Like, that would have really confused people. Like, there would have been cops being called on that. I know one neighbor listened to it and she left a message about how disgusting she thought it was. So my dad changed it the next day to just something normal. Which, yeah.
Like that, it's a really weird thing to make your 12-year-old son do.
Yeah. I mean, at the time I was like, yeah, this is funny, but now I look back on it, I'm like, man, I don't know about that anymore. That's kind of weird.
Then there was a time my dad made me dress up like Peter Pan, and
it was Robin Hood.
Oh, Robin Hood.
No, I didn't dress up like Robin Hood. I just saying that was from the movie. It was Robin Hood, Britain. Get your facts straight. I still have the little leotard, and no, my dad never like. I remember, this is just a random thought I had. I think I told you this story before, and I think you know where I'm going to go with this. The time for Father's Day that I memorized and rehearsed for, oh gosh. No, I'm so proud of this because I think I pulled it off.
I'm not.
I rehearsed the Thriller dance for weeks on end, just so for Father's Day, so I could do the dance for him, show him the entire Thriller dance. And my sister even had this red leather jacket that kind of looked like the one he had. So I put on the red leather jacket, and I was like, all right, what do we have for like red pants? Because I obviously didn't have red leather pants.
Yeah.
So I got my dad's like red sweatpants and put it on. And I sat him down. Like, actually, I wasn't gonna do it. And I was like, yeah, I'm actually kind of embarrassed to do it now. And my mom's like, oh, no, you spent all that time, like, getting this together, so why don't you do it for the old man? So she basically threw me to the wolves.
Oh, yeah.
And so I did it for him, and he got up and left halfway through. Like, he didn't even finish the end of the dance, and I'm like, man, I choreographed the hell out of that dance.
He went to drink the liquor he got for Father's Day as well.
The liquor my mom got him for Father's Day. It's like, I think you might need this. It's like, and here's the thing, here's the kicker, it really pisses me off, is that, like a couple years ago, like 10 years ago, I was over at his house for Thanksgiving, and he was showing me the YouTube videos that he liked, because that's, like, just a thing now, and, he showed me his video of, like, everyone doing the Thriller dance at a wedding, and I didn't mention it, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, you have got some fucking balls, old man. To sit there and like, look at this. Think of all the work that went into making them all do this.
Why didn't you ever do that? You were always a dancer.
Maybe it wasn't the fact that I was dancing to Thriller. Maybe it was the fact that I just wasn't good at dancing Thriller. And he was like, I'm just gonna leave because this is embarrassing. He's really not. He's not landing any of these moves.
And maybe he just left the room to laugh at you and just wanted to save face for you.
You know, maybe that's a very nice story now.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't bear to break the young boy's heart. You know, I don't think he's ever not laughed at anything stupid I've done. But maybe this was the first time he was like, he put a lot of effort to it, and boy howdy, he is shitty. He is a bad dancer. I remember my sister actually used to do belly dancing when she was like 5 years old at the studio in Philly.
That's weird.
Maybe. It was run by this Greek woman named Zora, and I remember she was, I remember thinking that she was like this young, pretty woman, when I was younger, and I was like, oh, she was like really tall and pretty because I was like 4 or 5. No, my sister was 5, so I was like 3 or 2. And I remember that she used to wink at me, and I used to like bring one of my eyes down because I knew how to wink, so I thought that was good. But then I remember like seeing pictures of her like recently. I'm like, man, she was like 70 years old. I was like,
back then, or
yeah, back then. I was like, damn. Like, my sister actually got on I think like Good Morning Philadelphia or something because of the bill, because like it was like this dance studio, and there was a lot of people who would like learn like the belly dancing, and I think like all the like Mediterranean dances and everything. And they had interviews with them, and we taped it, and you can see her like, she wasn't very good, but you can see her like trying to spin around, and everything, and like you can just see her in the background. I remember they interviewed her because I remember when the news crew showed up.
Yeah. And
I remember them interviewing all the different people that used to be there at the dance studio, and I remember them interviewing my sister, but they didn't play her part of the interview. So I can imagine, I don't know why, but I wish if I had a time machine, I'd go back and I'd really listen to all of that. And so my sister always thought she was a great dancer because of that like 2 months she took, and because she was on Good Day Philadelphia or Wake Up Philadelphia or something like that. And so I remember like when she was a little bit older, she was like 13 or 14 years old. She was friends with people down the street who were actually like they took dance every year. You know, they were actual dancers, and she tried to prove that she was a better dancer than them. So my dad, was like, all right, let's just like go ahead, let's see the. You two have a dance off, basically.
Yeah.
So my sister's like, well, I can't just do a dance. I gotta go change. So she changed back into her like outfit she wore like when she was like 5. No. This like weird pink, with clicky clackers. I don't know, they're like little symbols on her hand.
Yeah.
And she was like trying to do like the things, the rolls with her hands and everything. And she was like laying on the ground trying to do it. She's like, I need a pillow to do this. It hurts my neck.
Oh.
Now, the other girl already did the dance before there, and she was like, she did great, because she'd been learning dance for like 10, 15, or 5 years. And my sister got so angry that she like went to her room, wouldn't come out for the rest of the day. And so we just had to kind of send a friend home. It's like, sorry that you're better than her.
Well, she got served humble pie.
I think she just plain old got served.
Oh man.
So I guess dancing just doesn't run in our family.
It's well.
I think I'm a pretty good dancer now. I do some pretty sick moves.
Oh, what, the James Brown?
James Brown.
That is not James Brown.
That's a good. I think James Brown himself would have been proud to see that dance.
That's someone who is walking on coals. That dance.
Maybe James Brown practiced like that. You don't know. He was an artist first.
Though it kind of made me think, like, you kind of said like, these kid dancers weren't really that great, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, nothing kids really do are all that great or interesting. Like, the only time they are, like, it's like one of those, traveling troops. Like, the whole family's in on it. They're all, like, either river dancers or all play the violin or something like that.
Yeah, like, you can see the abuse in the,
the work
that
that's
they
what I was
do.
going to say. Like, the kids look absolutely miserable because it's, up at, 5 a.m. and you get the violin out and you go to bed at midnight after, and I'm guessing there's
calluses on your fingers.
Well, I mean, somewhere in between there's probably like shoveling hay, like some kind of hard labor
or coal, because I'm assuming that the bus they own runs on coal and nothing else.
And one of them gets the audacity to read a book, but it's we do not read book in this house. We do violin. The Russian troupe. It's like Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, Yeah.
Except, I guess it's nothing like Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves.
Well, that actually reminds me of like back when I was working at the theater, and there was this Russian troupe where it was a Russian family, and they had some kind of weird puppet show.
Okay.
And I don't really. I know I was in the booth and it was far away, but it was just this. It was just this weird, creepy puppet show. It was all in Russian. I think the Baba Yaga was in it as well.
Oh, nice.
And because I think there was like this house that had
chickens,
feet.
Yeah, chicken legs. Yeah.
And man,
I would have loved to see that play.
I actually kind of, I'm actually kind of upset. I didn't really get to watch much of it. I was up on the soundboard, but
maybe.
Yeah, it was well.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe they have something on YouTube or something.
I'm sure there's some kind of scary Russian puppet show that we can watch on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. There's man, I would have loved to see something like a live scary Russian puppet show.
Yeah.
That would have been great. There's a little thing off the old bucket list. I have a weird bucket list. Scary Russian puppet show. Parentheses live. Yes. Okay. And then scary Russian puppet show. Parentheses not live. Like
It loses its charm if it's not live.
It's like, I still want to watch it, though. It's still on the bucket list. I only have 3 things on my bucket list, and 2 of them are... I don't know why I'm giving myself a weird accent. Like, I'm talking as myself. That's how I hear myself. I've only got 3 things on my bucket list, and 2 of them are Russian puppet shows.
What's the third one? This is also my accent.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. The third one is to have a cantaloupe. I scratched that off years ago.
It wasn't worth it.
Some people say I need a new bucket list, but I think I should finish the first bucket list before I start a new one.
The new bucket list is also the last thing on my bucket list.
The new bucket list won't have any cantaloupes on there whatsoever.
No lopes at all.
Maybe antelope. Huh? Antelope, huh? Yeah, that'd probably be gamey.
Oh, man. So what if...
Go ahead.
the T-1000 asked, called to John in Gilbert Gottfried's voice?
I think he would run out because, Iago, awesome.
Was that?
I don't know. I think Aladdin was 93.
Yeah. No, it might have been 91. Because it was the next one after The Little Mermaid, wasn't it? And Little Mermaid was 89.
Although there was probably there might have been something really weird right after The Little Mermaid that, like, people forget. Like The Rescuers Down Under or something like that.
Probably some Russian puppet.
Disney's really, they're really branching out with their Russian puppet. Like, you know what? That is one thing I'm glad about the streaming service, is that now I can see these scary Russian puppet shows.
On Disney?
Yeah, Disney Plus has a bunch of them.
Well, Disney Plus is giving us an avenue to watch all of these really bad 90s.
Oh, man.
90s kids movies, which, they're coming up.
Oh, yeah, I know. I kind of wish, there's a lot of movies that are on the same, series that aren't on Disney Plus, and I kind of wish they were. And it's like Angels in the Outfield, because I feel like
that's not on Disney Plus.
Not on Disney Plus. I don't know why, but it's not on Disney Plus. So maybe they'll update it eventually. But then there was Angels in the End Zone, which was only available, I think, on ABC. It was an ABC family movie night thing.
Oh no! Didn't we watch that one?
No, we didn't watch Angels in the End Zone either. I've never seen Angels in the End Zone. Oh, and I think there was a third one, I don't know, Angels on the Shuffleboard.
Angels in the Outhouse.
It's the only one not starring Christopher Lloyd, and it's man, how bad must this be? Christopher Lloyd was in that weird Lamprey movie, you know what I mean? He was in Food Fight.
Oh, yeah, he was. Oh, that movie.
So, whatever the Angels were doing now, it was something he just wasn't into.
It was a union strike.
Angels on the tennis court. Angels in the curling.
Angels in the... Angels.
Angels in the Restroom, I think, would be a completely different movie. Can't show that one on Disney Plus.
You have to get one of those in the back room.
Oh, Angels in the Back Room. That was just a strip club.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember. Man, I don't think I saw Angels in the Outfield in the theater. But there was a time where I was seeing a lot of movies in the theater back then because my grandmother would take us.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, she would take us to see a lot of things. I think I saw. I know I didn't see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but I think there was a lot of movies. I think she took us to the Mighty Ducks. No, I went to the Mighty Ducks with the neighbors. I don't know how I swindled my way into that one.
I saw Jurassic Park with my neighbors.
Oh, really? Oh, I saw that with my mom. I saw that with my mom, and Honey, I Blew Up the Kid with my mom.
Oh.
Or Honey, I Blew Up the Baby, whatever it was. And that was just a random thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just sitting there one day playing with my dust bunnies or whatever it was, and my mom was like, "Hey, get in the car." I'm like, "Okay." So we got in the car, and I'm playing with my dust bunnies in the car, and we pull up in front of the theater. Like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Oh, I'm taking you to movies." I'm like, "Why? Am I okay? Is everything okay?" Like, "I just want to take you to the movies." She even got me the little cup full of soda. It was a big cup that they put all the soda in, and it had like a POV shot of the baby looking down on Wayne Zielinski, and it was like a nice plastic cup that was like a tie-in to the movie. And I kept that cup for years. I put it on this little shelf that I had in my room, and I used to keep like pencils and stuff in there.
Oh, it reminds me of the back when Star Wars Episode 1 was huge. There was all the Coke products that had the characters on the
cans.
On the cans, and I had a collection of them.
Me too.
And I'm like, oh, these are gonna be valuable someday. And I don't know if I ended up throwing them away or drinking them.
Well, the funny thing... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, the funny thing is that my Coke can collection, like, was post-drink. I'd already drank the Coke cans at that point.
No, I didn't drink... Well, I was fastidious with collectibles like that. Because, I collected coins. I
had... The only two I remember that I had that I kept before, I think my mom just threw them in the recyclable, was I had Shmi. That was Anakin's
she had
mom.
a can?
Yeah, she had a can. And I had Boss Nass. And those are the only two that I had.
Boss Nass.
Was
he the... Oh, God. They gave everyone a can, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't have... you couldn't get a Mace Windu or Anakin or an Obi-Wan. I had to get Boss Nass.
I think I had an Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had a Darth Maul and a Qui-Gon.
Sick. I wonder how much those cans go for on eBay right now.
5 cents at the recycling place.
Like if you wait another, well, maybe if it was another Star Wars movie, like Star Wars, maybe it would be worth a little bit more.
Unfortunately there hasn't been a good Star Wars movie. Well, okay, that's not true. Episode 7 wasn't bad.
Yeah, I like Episode 7. I like Episode 8.
Episode 8.
I know. You got.
I got some big problems with Episode 8.
I think Episode 8 is, I think, the third best behind Empire. Goes Empire, New Hope, and then Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And but I will admit that a lot of that is a concession because I really don't like Return of the Jedi too much. It's okay, but it's my least favorite by far of the original trilogy.
It used to be my favorite.
Mine too. And then I just kind of grew out of it. And I was like, man, this is crap, actually.
Oh, it was my favorite for one thing. I didn't, growing up, I didn't watch Star Wars for the characters or anything, or the fights, or the lightsaber scenes. I watched it for the spaceships.
Okay.
I liked looking at the spaceships and oh, that's a big spaceship. That one's not as big. That's a cool spaceship.
So they had a lot of variety of spaceships.
So in Return of the Jedi, I had the Superstar Destroyer, the biggest spaceship of them all. I didn't consider the Death Star a spaceship because it was
a space station.
Yeah, but I had the biggest spaceship of them all, and I was so excited. And then when we get to the boring parts, I'll be like,
the lightsaber
battle. These boring lightsabers. Oh, what are they doing? Jumping around Jabba's palace. That's boring.
Like the funny thing is, when I was a kid, I liked Jabba's palace the best, and I still like it. I think it's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, it is.
But again, looking back on it, it's like there are a lot of flaws with Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, one in particular that's massive. Jedi rocks.
Well, dare we consider that even canon?
But even after that, it's like, man, they really didn't have a really good plan going into this. Like Luke's plan was to have literally all of his friends get captured by the guy, and then kill him.
Yeah.
That was his plan. He's like, I'm just gonna have everyone get captured, and I'm gonna come in and Jedi my way through it, and everything will be good.
I guess he also had to depend on Chewbacca having a conniption, him going full Wookiee power on everyone.
It's like he really left a lot of things to chance.
Yeah.
It's like what if he spent all the time building a new lightsaber? What if Jabba just smashed R2 to bits? It's like, hey, where's my R2 unit? Oodie boba booda. All right, well I'm just gonna leave right now, and I'm gonna be okay. See ya.
And you have to think Luke, depending on, I guess depending on Chewbacca being so strong as you have to think that they're leaving a lot to chance because what is Chewbacca 70?
I think he's older now. I think canonically he's in the hundreds.
Yeah, he's just I don't know how long Wookiees live. apparently
50 years. He is something like he you know what it is? He found the Dragon Balls and he wished for immortality.
He's
and Luke knew that.
He's the the Chewbacca equivalent of, was it Saint Paul, or that he said won't die, or won't die until the temple's built again.
I think that the biggest flaw of Luke's plan was that the guy who betrayed them, Lando, he's like immediately like, all right, well, you're going to be a key part of this plan. I know I just met you, and the first thing I know about you is that you sold out everybody that I care about, but you're going to be in this plan as well. And then the rebel just makes him a general. It's like, it would be like in the War of 1812, if they're like, hey, Benedict Arnold, you want to come be on our side? We know what you did, but you learned your lesson.
I think it's because Lando still holds the lease on the Millennium Falcon.
I think it was just because like they all thought he was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I think they all
got
kind of
that cape.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, look at this guy. I'm not gonna turn this guy away. You know what? You're a fucking general, man. You're gonna like all the people who've been in the Rebel Alliance for years. Like, really? Like I'm just a sergeant.
I think he wooed.
Leia.
No.
Oh, Mon Mothma.
No.
Admiral Akbar.
Admiral Akbar.
I've never felt feelings like this before.
Well then, why don't we find a place to explore it? Maybe the medical frigate.
No, I'm a soldier.
Yes, but you're also a lover.
Oh, we're
It's a
making
trap.
fan fiction.
I know. You know something? This is good fan
Yeah.
fiction right here. If I was gonna write fan fiction, well, it probably wouldn't be this. I think I'd pick something else. I'd pick like I don't know, maybe. I think didn't I talk about this before? How I always wanted to make like crazy fan fiction, like Alf and olive oil. Like I wrote a whole story about it.
Yeah.
I was, just as a test, and it was like obviously a sexual fan fiction thing.
Oh, yeah.
But it got really dark where it's like, like Alf kept on like, he was doing things and he kept on getting his fur matted and tangled.
I thought you were like dark as in like he's passionate about with olive oil, and then he's reminded of his dead lovers in Melmac that's died.
Oh, he just sits there and mopes. She's like, well, I told you I ate cats. I also did one for a friend that was
Oh yeah.
it was Flo from the Progressive Auto Insurance commercials and a Xenomorph. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'll be damned if that wasn't one of the funniest things I've ever written in my entire life.
I read that one, and it was interesting.
I laughed so hard at it when I was writing it. That was all first draft too, and I sent it. I was like, this might be one of the silliest things I think I've ever written.
It was I think H.R. Geiger would have liked it though.
It's like I was talking about how the pleasure center was in the middle of the Xenomorph's forehead, and he didn't know what to do, so he just kept on rubbing it against the wall because he didn't understand. Xenomorphs don't know love.
They just know.
I guess pain.
I don't think they know anything.
I mean, I guess they don't know love. They have a queen. Like the queen just keeps on spitting out eggs.
They're just ants.
Or bees, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I guess they would be closer to bees than ants.
That's one thing I actually really did like about the Alien movie before Prometheus, pissed it all away. Was
I like Prometheus.
I don't know. Was that like I really liked that there was like such a I don't even want to say a mystery. It was just like it really felt like it was part of a larger universe. Like there's these. Okay, like obviously there's these other things. We've come in contact with another species. There's probably other ones, especially in Aliens, when they mention like, oh, is this another bug hunt? Like so there are other species, but this is like one of the few that is kind of like really this hostile no one really knows about.
Yeah.
And I actually liked. I don't mind Alien 3 so much. Alien Cubed.
Alien 3 is just, it's a miracle it got done to begin with.
Yeah, I heard all of the behind-the-scenes kind of things about it, and I don't hate it too much. One thing I did like, which I kind of wish they went further on, was like when the Xenomorph infected the dog, and I'm like, and it was like a little. It didn't really look too good, but you know, it was more dog Xenomorph. I'm like, yeah, I wish it was kind of. I wish they kind of did more with that, made it more dog and feral. Like I remember
more
at the
canine.
end. Yeah, exactly. At the end of Alien versus Predator, I remember a little Xenomorph pops out of the alien's chest, and it's got like the Predator's chest, and has like the Predator.
Yeah, the
features.
Predator jaw.
Yeah, and I'm like, I actually didn't see the sequel, so I don't know if they ever followed up on that.
I didn't see the sequel either. Oh, that's
I know a movie we can watch then.
But yeah, it kind of makes you kind of make a good point, because the head of the Xenomorph in that movie is Alien 3 is the head that comes out of all the humans. Like it's the human jaw structure and the human kind of like the upper lip and stuff like that. And if it were going with the canon or the I guess the precedent of the franchise, it would have more of a more canine features,
like a snout.
Yeah, it would have a snout. It would
have a snout and a little thing that pops out, the little proboscis or proboscis or whatever.
And but like, I wonder if certain instincts don't go away, of like they smear peanut butter on the wall, but they
and then they lick it up because they like the taste of peanut butter.
But it can't lick it up because it just has a proboscis, so it's just smashing against the wall.
It's like, who put all these holes in this wall? Where does peanut butter come from?
What kind of prison is this?
Where do we even have peanut butter? We have gruel.
It's a single cell protein that has
here we go. Come on, Tank, get out of here. Always with the single cell protein.
No, I'm just trying to think of like what other things could a Xenomorph mix with.
Bird. I want to see a bird Xenomorph. I think that'd be freaking awesome.
What kind of bird? I'm thinking a turkey.
Well, I was gonna say something graceful. Something graceful like a hawk, but I think a turkey might be funnier.
A fat doughy Xenomorph that drowns because it looks up in the rain.
An ostrich that buries its proboscis in the sand.
Oh man, there's a lot, like a peacock.
Oh, giraffe. Imagine a Xenomorph with a giant neck with that, with its head on top.
I guess it would be gangly and stupid. Couldn't really do much.
It's like, it's just a nuisance at that point.
Get out of here! You.
Like, they just shove it. It tips over. Like, as it's laying on the ground, it's like...
As it tries to get back up. A turtle.
They just... A lemur. Or sloth.
What was it? That blobfish?
I wonder what a cat Xenomorph would be like. That's nature's ultimate predator.
Even a larger cat, like maybe a tiger.
Or a snow leopard.
Or an ocelot.
I'm right. Alien 5. Aliens at the zoo. There we go.
There we go.
That is such a good idea. Like, there are so many ways you can do this. Man, that would actually be kind of interesting.
Like, you can play it a little bit lighthearted.
Yeah, like they did it with Alien Resurrection.
Well, I don't think it was intended, but
they had Ron Perlman in the movie. He screamed at a spider.
Did he scream at it? What?
Remember there's a spider when he's climbing up the thing and he screams and he sprays it with fire?
Oh, that's right.
There was no way that there wasn't any intentional humor in that movie. I like that movie.
Yeah. Oh, I think, wasn't it the same guy that did The Fifth Element?
I'm not sure. I thought it was the same writer who did Firefly. Because you can kind of see a lot of that in there. I mean, but if you have Brad Dourif in a cocoon talking about how beautiful it is, like there is no way that you're looking at that and saying, all right, this isn't funny. You know what I mean? Like, this is hilarious. She's playing basketball.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could do a lighthearted Aliens at the Zoo feature.
Yep. This big dumpy hippo alien.
The rhino alien. It'd be great.
Once
it gets into the monkey house, it's all over.
Oh man, they're gonna be flinging.
The proboscis just shoots shit out.
It comes out the ass.
The proboscis has such a velocity that it impales people.
I just like I'm imagining this xenomorph with this bright blue ass. There is unlimited potential.
Infinite potential there.
So like, what if a xenomorph was in Jurassic Park?
Oh, a dinosaur xenomorph. A raptor, a T-Rex. I think would be too much. Man, that would be a giant proboscis. That would come out.
Knocks over a bus.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Actually, knowing like the way that they do movies nowadays, and it always is a letdown with great ideas.
Yeah.
It would probably be the little Compsognathorus or whatever they were, the little compies.
Is that the thing with the
little tiny ones?
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine the Dilophosaurus. With
with the especially since it spits things out anyway.
The frills. Actually, that'd make the Dilophosaurus much less dangerous because now there's an extra step before it spits venom at you.
Yeah.
It's like Newman would have had a lot quicker time to get out of there.
Yeah. Oh, Newman.
It's like you locked yourself in a car with a dinosaur. What do you expect was going to happen?
I remember I had a point about Dennis Nedry's character's death.
He deserved it.
Yeah, well, he kind of yelled at a dinosaur, and the dinosaur got, fed up with his shit.
Once he called him stupid, the dinosaur was like, "No way you live, no way."
And I guess it's kind of like Dennis Nedry would have probably lived and then been a billionaire, having started his rival company, had he just closed the door to his car.
Yeah. Like, everything would have been alright if he wasn't, wasn't stupid.
Yeah, just a fat, lazy man.
Like, I don't know what debts he said, that he said he had, but I imagine they were gambling debts. I don't know if they specified, but I always kind of saw gambling debts. It would have been much more tragic if he had, like, student loan debt, and that's the reason he was doing all this.
He needs to pay for the surgery of his sick grandmother.
And then it's like, now it's much more tragic when he gets eaten by the little Dilophosaurus.
Yep, she's sitting in his in a rocking chair, like,
and then,
when's Dennis coming home?
I know he's coming. And on that note, Dustwalker,
terrible movie.
Not a very good movie at all.
Very bad.
Just nothing happened. Very boring.
If you need something to put yourself to sleep, go for it. Otherwise, seek something better.
All right. Well, see you later.
Toodaloo.
That'll hold a little SOBs.